Hello, this is Brantina Sinkwich reporting for the final screencast for Unit 14 and 15. In this screencast, I will be comparing the weather and climate between Sand Point and Fairbanks, Alaska during the weeks of January 25th through 31st and March 20th through 27th. Sand Point, Alaska is located at 55 degrees north and 160 degrees west and is in the Southwest Islands. Sand Point has a maritime influence, and Fairbanks is located at 64 degrees north and 147 degrees west and is in the interior Alaska. Fairbanks has a continental influence. Sand Point is generally warmer and wetter, and Fairbanks is generally colder and drier. The temperature response to an input or output of heat differs from one substance to another, dependent primarily on specific heat of each substance. Water bodies, such as the ocean, exhibit less temperature variability from day to night and from summer to winter than do land masses, primarily because the specific heat of water is greater than that of land. Also, the solar radiation penetrates water, but soil is opaque to solar radiation, and water circulates. The winter to summer temperature contrast is greater in continental climates than in maritime climates. In addition, compared to continental places, maritime places experience a greater lag in the temperature response to seasonal variations in income and solar radiation. Here are the temperatures in January for Sand Point and Fairbanks. The red lines show the actual temperatures, and the gray lines show the climatology temperatures. The January temperatures for Sand Point and Fairbanks, for the most part, were above the climatology patterns. Except for Fairbanks in the beginning and toward the end of the week, the actual temperatures were within the climatologic range. Fairbanks has a higher temperature fluctuation than Sand Point. The Sand Point climatologic temperatures on average were at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Minimum temperatures at 28 degrees Fahrenheit and maximum temperatures at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. The Fairbanks climatologic temperatures on average were at -5 degrees Fahrenheit, with minimum temperatures at -14 degrees Fahrenheit and maximum temperatures at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Some meteorological conditions that would give rise to warmer than expected temperatures in Fairbanks in late January and March would be changes affecting record quality, which can include the type of instrument used to measure a meteorological parameter, such as the placement of the instruments either height-wise or location-wise, the date and time of observations taken, how often they were taken, and any changes in the station's surroundings. Each of these factors can introduce apparent changes that do not represent the actual climatic change. Here are the pressures in January for Sand Point and Fairbanks. The pressure in Sand Point had a general increase in trend throughout the week, and the pressure in Fairbanks had a decrease in then increase in trend. Here are the dew point and relative humidity graphs for Sand Point and Fairbanks in January. In Sand Point, the dew point and relative humidity had the same trend. Fairbanks, the dew point had a different trend than the relative humidity. On Monday, January 25th, 2016, we see a low pressure system influencing Sand Point with northwesterly winds. Fairbanks was influenced by an occluded front that was coming from the south with southwesterly winds. Sand Point had rain showers and had minimum cloud cover, and Fairbanks was dry and cloudy. On Thursday, January 28th, 2016, another low-pressure system was influencing Sand Point with northwesterly winds that eventually moved north of Sand Point. There was a low-pressure system that was influencing Fairbanks with southeasterly winds. Sand Point looked like there was minimum cloud coverage and rain showers. On Sunday, January 31st, 2016, Sand Point was influenced by an occluded front. Fairbanks had a high-pressure system that was coming from the east. Sand Point had rain showers and a cloudy sky cover. Fairbanks looked calm on this day with minimum cloud cover. The changes of this air mass influences the weather for any location, whether if it's a change in temperature, pressure, or humidity. When temperatures are higher than climatology, we see a cloudier pattern. On Monday, January 25th, 2016, using these satellite images, we can see the low-pressure cyclonic movement influencing Sand Point. On the infrared image, there were a few clouds covering Sand Point and Fairbanks. On the water vapor image, we see that there is little moisture in Sand Point and Fairbanks. On Thursday, January 28, 2016, we see the low-pressure system just east of Sand Point. On the infrared, we see that the Sand Point has had little sky coverage and Fairbanks was cloudier. On the water vapor image, we can see that there is minimum moisture in Sand Point and in Fairbanks due to the grayscale. On Sunday, January 31st, 2016, we can see the occluded front over Sand Point. On the infrared image, we can see Sand Point is cloudy and Fairbanks has some cloud coverage, but not as much as Sand Point. On the water vapor, we can see Sand Point is saturated, and we can prove that by using the relative humidity, which on this day was at 100%, and Fairbanks was fairly moist. As hot, humid air rises, consequent of expansional cooling leads to condensation, cloud development, and rain. The release of latent heat intensifies the buoyant uplift, triggering even more clouds and rainfall. Here are the temperatures in March for Sand Point and Fairbanks. The red lines show the actual temperatures, and the gray lines show the climatology temperatures. The March temperatures for Sand Point and Fairbanks, for the most part, were within the climatology patterns, except for Sand Point in the beginning of the week, the temperatures were lower, and toward the end of the week, they were higher. But you can see the general trend. Also, in Fairbanks, toward the end of the week, the actual temperatures were above the climatologic range. Sand Point climatologic temperatures on average were 34 degrees Fahrenheit, the minimum temperatures at 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and maximum temperatures at 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Fairbanks climatologic temperatures on average were between 13 and 17 degrees Fahrenheit, minimum temperatures from 0 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and maximum temperatures from 27 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Here are the pressures in March for Sand Point and Fairbanks. The pressure in Sand Point had a increasing and decreasing trend throughout the week, and the pressure in Fairbanks had a more stable trend. Here are the dew point and relative humidity graphs for Sand Point and Fairbanks in March. In Sand Point, the dew point and relative humidity had the same general trend. In Fairbanks, the dew point was the opposite of the relative humidity. On Sunday, March 20th, 2016, we see a low-pressure system influencing Sand Point with northwesterly winds. Sand Point had snow showers and had cloud cover. And Fairbanks looked calm, dry, and partly cloudy, maybe a little bit of snow. On Tuesday, March 22nd, 2016, there was the low-pressure system closing on Sand Point with an occluded front. This occluded front brought rain showers and fog. Fairbanks looked clear of clouds, calm and dry. On Sunday, March 27, 2016, Sand Point was influenced by another occluded front, with a warm front and cold front. There were rain showers and a cloudy sky cover. Fairbanks had a low-pressure system with a cold front from the southwest. The cold front had brought snow showers and a cloudy sky cover. The winds and air mass movement can explain the observed weather. Prevailing winds can influence the climate. If there are winds from the south, generally they are warmer than winds from the north. On Sunday, March 20th, 2016, using these satellite images, we can see the snow and rain that follows up the Aleutian Islands to the Panhandle. On the infrared image, there are few clouds covering Sand Point, with more clouds covering Fairbanks. On the water vapor image, we see that there is a lot of moisture in Sand Point, and if we check the relative humidity graph for this day, there was about 95% of RH. Fairbanks looks moist as well, and checking on the RH graph, the relative humidity was about 90%. On Tuesday, March 22nd, 2016, we can see the occluded front just east of Sand Point. On the infrared image, we see that Sand Point has a cloudy sky coverage and Fairbanks looked cloud-free. On the water vapor image, we can see the rain showers from the occluded front just east of Sand Point, and Fairbanks was humid as evidenced in the grayscale. On Sunday, March 27th, 2016, we can see the occluded front just west of Sand Point, as well as the cold front. On the infrared image, we can see Sand Point and Fairbanks was cloudy. On the water vapor image, we see that Sand Point and Fairbanks was fairly moist. There was an El Nino this year, and the El Nino has a ripple effect on the weather of middle latitudes, especially in winter. There is a teleconnection, or a link between changes in atmospheric circulation patterns in widely separated regions of the world. As the El Nino gets stronger, the Aleutian low-pressure system also gets stronger. That would result in warmer temperatures and more winds, which impacts the weather for Sand Point and Fairbanks. That concludes my weather investigation. Thank you, everyone, for such a great semester. I enjoyed learning about the weather in Sand Point, Nome, Fort Wainwright, and Fairbanks. Thank you. Bye.